Hello and welcome back to our brand new podcast. You can take your hoodie off.
Yeah, I'll take mine.
We'll carry on. We'll have a look. Brought to you by Mobile Football Game Club, which we all play religiously. I've become ridiculously addicted to this. I always said I didn't really like FPL, but when money comes calling, you've got to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You getting on with Manny?
Not really, mate. I can't stand him. I like him as a podcaster and as a producer of excellent content for people half my age. I admire what he does there for sure.
Yeah,
but his abilities as a scout are terrible. He's just awful. I did pack Caicedo.
Oh,
and
nice.
I can't afford him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen your salary cap. I know you're not accepting an 85 Caicedo.
No, I am accepting it just to have a look at him.
Yeah,
to see what life could be like once I get it leveled up. It's a pain in the 3 days the latest level takes. 3 days.
Yeah, unless you like one of
watch loads of videos.
There are a few COs out there. I was telling you about it. I think it was last week that someone just watched like 63 ads in a row one day.
Oh my god!
I keep doing that, but you are mad. You hear the dulcet tones of Joe there. Lovely Joe. And we're joined for the first time by Seb Martin, TikToker, podcaster, and Tottenham Hotspur fan. There's a bit of a theme here, isn't there? The Spurs fans coming on.
There is lots of Spurs fans. You love to see it.
I only work with good people, you see, so and so many of them happen to be Tottenham Hotspur fans.
Pulling the hoodie off and he reveals a football shirt and he's now back into the 2v1 against Flav with the football shirt. So
this is the brand new Tottenham Hotspur training top, is that right?
Yeah, it's the T90 stuff. I absolutely love it. I know that Ben Bowman has visited the club shop a fair few times since all this stuff dropped. I don't think he's got anything else in his wardrobe now, so I thought I'd join in.
I've got just a little bit of trivia for you because I saw something on Reddit. I was browsing earlier. So imagine this scenario, boys. Mickey van der Ven against Villarreal has acres of space. It's just him and Vicario. And Van der Ven gets down on his stomach and heads the ball back to Vicario, and Vicario picks it up. In that instance, is that fair to do?
I would instantly say yes, right? If he's heading it back to the goal. By the way, is this just a fantasy you think about Mickey van der Ven sliding on his stomach?
Yes, I mean, a bit crazy.
ChatGPT can serve up some decent results. I don't need to think about these things anymore. Do you know the answer though?
Surely it's yes, but the fact that you've asked the question makes me think
I'm guessing
wrong.
no.
No, the answer is no.
Wow.
The player can pass back to the goalkeeper using his head if it's in a natural occurrence. It cannot do a trick to circumnavigate the rule. So he's not allowed to flick it up off the floor and header it back. And he's also not allowed to get down on the floor and header it back. If the ball is in flight and he diving headers it back, that's fine. He's just not allowed to circumnavigate the rules, and it's at the referee's discretion whether or not the player has done that.
That's a shame that we'll never see Mickey do that, to be honest. That's all I'm thinking there. But
I didn't know that. And I think, obviously, it makes sense now that you say it, because that was part of the issue, is that you could just flick it up to yourself and head it back to them.
Not allowed.
But yeah,
not allowed. You
just assumed you can sort of bend the rules maybe slightly by, like you say, circumnavigating it, like sliding, making yourself seem to trip over, but I don't think you risk that. But yeah, good rule.
That's one of those that the ref would never actually give, would he? If it happened, they'd play on, surely.
It did happen. It did happen, and the I don't know what the actual result, an indirect free kick, I think, was what was given.
Oh my god!
It was like that wall rule recently. That like you can't stand, the opposition players have got to be within a certain meter of the wall.
That was nonsense, man.
And then it got bought in for the first time, and then no one's really heard of it since. But everyone's still watching out for it now because it's been given once. Yeah. It's like
it was given in the Palace game for the Eza free kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now it's not happening again. Now every time it happens, you've got Palace fans going crazy. 1 meter, it's 1 meter from the wall. Should never have been a rule. Every season, the referees just find a way to complicate things, to interfere, and I don't know. I think it's just to be a Premier League referee, you have to see a certain breed of person. I'm not saying a bad breed, but you have to be a certain type of person.
Are we getting on with the new rules? Like, do you like even this Americanized thing that like these halftime interviews and all that kind of stuff? I mean, I just find it so unbearable to watch. I don't know about
Tell
you
you
guys.
what, ref cam's good. I like ref cam. Some of the photos, some of the videos of ref cam, like that Szoboszlai free kick. I watched that about 150 times. But apart from that, halftime interviews are just nonsense. I don't know what they think they're going to get out of the players at halftime. It's just like robotic questions, robotic answers, the same as you get at full time, really, but just completely pointless.
If you think about it as a product and in terms of business, and obviously the amount of eyes you get on a product means it increases its value.
Yeah,
that the Premier League are clipping up these things if they get one or two
it's worth
decent
it,
interviews for them financially, for them per season.
Mm-hmm.
If they get, say, one player just blows up or goes off on one just once, it's something there. It's more content. Do I like it? No, but I don't like anything to change. Like I don't like. I literally want everything to stay the same, and any change I get frustrated by. But yeah, every season it happens, and then they're sticklers for these rules for about a month, and then they just go back to
and then you
normal.
never see him again.
You're rocking a Napoli top, I see there, Joe.
Yeah, Napoli top. I've got one of
Big
them.
fan of Napoli, are you?
I just collect a football shirt whenever I go to somewhere. Really, like that's kind of a thing, and sort of kept with it. It's expensive hobby, but
you're rolling in it, Joe. Luckily, they're top of the league, Napoli, still, aren't they?
They're great. Obviously, Hoyland bagging.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're talking about this week, I think we have to start with Manchester United because it's interesting the way the situation they find themselves in, but also how it correlates to club. Because are you packing any Manchester United players if they get offered to you? Because Bruno Fernandes last season, you'd probably say yes. But this season, given the way he's been asked to play, deeper, sort of low, sort of playmaking from deep, isn't necessarily as attractive as it would have been last time. And I was watching the Manchester derby at the weekend, and I was thinking, as a Spurs fan, there isn't a single player from Manchester United I think I'd take at this moment. Maybe Bruno Fernandes, maybe, but it's not guaranteed. What has happened, Ben? Seb.
No,
basically the same person.
There's
anyway,
no inflict.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to like look at who you would put more of a proportion of the blame on, the players or the manager, because for me, I mean, I look at some of those players and I think, you know, Bruno, Kobbie Mainoo, Lenny Yoro, they've got some very good footballers in that squad that I think are being platformed so terribly by Ruben Amorim, like you said about Bruno, like playing him as a second central midfielder when he has sort of the defensive awareness of an attacking midfielder, which you wouldn't expect any different, right? He's been an attacking midfielder his whole club career. And it's like, I just don't understand or see the Ruben Amorim vision in any way at all at this point. And I was quite positive about him last season and going into this season. I thought that he could turn it around with a couple of signings. But yeah, I mean, the way that he's using that squad, I mean, I don't think their squad has an incredibly high potential, but I also don't think that they should be getting run over by a Man City side who have looked quite vulnerable so far this season in that sort of way. And just it being so comfortable for Man City up until the last 20 minutes when United had a bit of a go. But, I mean, when you're seeing players like Ugarte playing over Kobbie Mainoo and stuff like that, it's just, it begs belief, really. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one of the kind of attractive players, if you like, if you're looking at packing someone who could potentially be influential and get you some points. Kobbie Mainoo's the guy, but Amorim has said over and over again that it's almost like he's criticised parts of his play, which I find strange. Like, do it in house, talk, speak to him, you know, do that, develop him as a player, 100%. But when you're asked why Kobbie Mainoo isn't playing, to give a blunt, honest answer, I just don't think it's necessary.
The issue with Ruben Amorim that I'm having, despite, like you say, his obvious on-field sort of, I'm not changing my plan, it seems like he's constantly, his job is justifying himself in interviews. At the start, everyone thought it was really refreshing that he came out and spoke so candidly and honestly. And everyone was like, I think towards the start of last season or midway through, everyone was like, oh, at least he's speaking to the fans. He's speaking honestly. He's like, this is so refreshing for a manager. Ange had it a bit as well, right? When they just spoke straight up as well. But then you can only do so much of that before it sort of gets a bit tiresome and the same old. And actually, what are you even saying anymore that's like counteracting to what you're actually doing on the pitch, like saying that he's
100%.
more hurt than the Manchester United fans. Like he's trying to just the Kobe Mainu stuff. Like it's almost like he's trying to justify. He feels like he has to justify his decision when actually, if you backed yourself as a manager and you knew what you're doing was right, you'd let your football do the talking on the pitch stuff. So at the start, everyone was loving how straight talker Ruben Amorim was, but now everyone's just grown tired of it. And it's just like some gimmick that he does, like just speaks in interviews and no substance about it.
Everything's
If you
fine
double
if you win.
down, exactly. If you double down on something, that's fine. If you're then producing results, like when he kicked Rashford out the squad, when he obviously kicked Garnacho out the squad, Kobe Mainoo's playing on the bench every single week, those kind of decisions are fine if the football is then following and fans will get behind it, fans will get on board of it. But if your football is looking like this at the moment and, players are playing in the way that they are and sort of there's so much, seems to be so much of a breakdown between Amorim and the fans in terms of communication. Like fans are going to get disillusioned and so frustrated with that. And I think that happened with Ange at Spurs at points last season when he was sort of doubling down on certain decisions and styles of play. And as a fan, you're looking at it every week thinking, well, we're barely putting, stringing one or two positive results together, let alone sort of any run that's going to get us near the top half of the Premier League. So I think that's the problem Amorim's facing at the moment. It's just he's doubled down on a lot and it's all gone wrong for him. So I think a lot of United fans are probably at their wits' end with him now.
Yeah, you look like a genius when you say I always win things in my and that's you're a straight talker and say that and it actually happens, but it's so bad when you speak a certain way in interviews and it doesn't happen for you on the pitch. It just makes it so much worse in every single aspect.
100%.
Yeah, this is the poorest start for Manchester United since 1992, and he's also possibly statistically the worst manager that Manchester United have had, obviously since Ferguson.
He might be the worst. He genuinely is candidate for worst in the league. Like if we're talking about managers underperforming for where they are, like and how they've been, like this isn't a this season thing. They finished 15th last season, and was obviously up there with him for being one of the worst managers. But what a trophy! Like Amorim has absolutely nothing to show for it. Has the worst record at his club. Signed a lot. Has a lot more budget than a lot of these other managers. He's genuinely putting in a good favour for him to be considered one of the worst managers in the entire league.
Yeah,
100%.
And weirdly, I don't necessarily blame him. You can't turn this job down, but he doesn't have the experience to deal with the situations that he finds himself in, and that's because pretty much everything's worked in his career. Like this 3-4-3 in Lisbon worked, and they became the best side in the country, and he delivered the first title in 15, 20 years for the club, and it all just worked. And nothing in football works forever. And so for him having zero experience in how to manage an attrition is a big factor. They've essentially got a young manager who's learning on the job at the second biggest club in the world. None of it marries properly. And I didn't hate the appointment, and I definitely thought that Amorim could potentially do something at Tottenham if we had an opportunity. But it's all this stuff is easy to say in hindsight, but fundamentally it comes from decision making above Amorim and that structure they've got at the football club. And the greatest worry for a Man United fan is that the decision makers aren't capable of doing this properly. And that is a bigger problem because Ineos are not selling anytime soon. They're part of it. And nor are Glazers. So it feels like there is, at this stage, no route out for Manchester United other than going after someone like Glasner or Areola.
Yeah. I hear a lot of this that, like, you know what you were saying about, like, it could have gone so different. Like, if Amorim had been at Spurs, like, it seems to be a genuine problem with Manchester United. Like, people go, oh, if Amorim went to Spurs, maybe it'd have done well. If Sesko was at Newcastle and Woltemade went to Manchester United, would their roles be switched? Would Sesko have banged in 2-3 goals by now, and Woltemade just would be look dead in the water? Like obviously there might be something going on. Everyone talks about the Institute of Manchester United just being so far below anything they've ever seen. Like people are saying, is it luck? Is it just going to Manchester United? Would Ruben Amorim have been a success somewhere else? Would Sesko have banged in 4 goals in the Premier League at another club now? Like, is it Manchester United? There's probably. I don't even know.
It's cursed, isn't it? It's absolutely cursed. I mean, you look at the amount of talented managers and players that have gone there in recent years and have had their careers. I mean, look at what happened to Ten Hag at Leverkusen after the United job. I'm not saying that Ten Hag was a good coach, but he got axed after 2 games. There's no way that would have happened if he didn't come into that job with the reputation that he sort of picked up at United. So, and I mean, you see McTominay and you see Hoyland, you see all these players who we think are dead food at United going abroad, going into different environments, working with different coaches. And every time, pretty much, apart from maybe Jadon Sancho, but even Sancho, he's decent at Chelsea last year, a lot better than he's ever shown for United. So I think it's just one of those things where it's so confusing because it's different. It's manager after manager, squad after squad. But like Flav said, the only consistent thing has been who's at the top, who's making those decisions until Ineos came in, but they don't really seem to change too much, to be honest. And I think they've got to look at themselves 100%.
Joe, can you tell which club has the most rejected players by club?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you were saying this. The Kobe Mainu thing's interesting, right? Talking about Manchester United from a club perspective, Mainu got a downgrade. He got an upgrade last season because of how bloody good he was.
Yeah.
So he got an upgrade from a core to a good rare, and now he's just gone the other way because Amorim's just come in this season and decided, actually, you're not my best holding midfielder that starts for England and it carries us in FA Cup finals. You're not that anymore, so I'm just going to drop you. So obviously he's had to get a downgrade because he was getting so many rejections as a rare. Obviously with our player ratings, rejections come into it. Bruno Fernandes, another one we upgraded last season because of how good he was last season.
Yeah.
This season playing a completely Bruno Fernandes, you all know about the goal threat, just constant goals and assists. Even if Manchester United are in the mud, he'll come through with good GA, but also just playing well as well and dragging that team. Now he's playing in that holding midfield role. He's absolutely stifled. He suddenly doesn't look like an 86 rated player. Him and Foden were the most rejected star players we have at 86 midfielders out of any of the sort of star attackers, so midfielders and attacker options. Him and Foden were rejected. I imagine Foden's going to get a fair few more accepts now that he seems to be back in the Manchester City squad, whereas Bruno Fernandes, playing in that new position, probably heading for another downgrade. It's just so hard with Manchester United. You do these player ratings at the end of last season, you're like, yeah, Mainu, Fernandes up, and then seems to be coming straight back down.
And Manchester City now are suddenly attractive for club owners.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Because that was a very good performance against Manchester United.
Donnarumma, we added Donnarumma as an 87 rated in the game, and
87?
was questioned by a few because
well, certainly that's the highest goalkeeper, right?
It is the highest goalkeeper,
Wow.
and questioned by a few, but because of City's defensive record, you can be the best goalkeeper in the world, but if you're not keeping clean sheets in our game club, you're probably not scoring as many points for a goalkeeper as you want. So it was, but what a debut, right? When we talk about these summer signings, these deadline day signings, etc., coming in, who's made an impact. He's probably had the biggest impact. Him and your man Wirtz, Flav.
Well, don't worry, we're coming on to him.
For deadline day signings have proven to be elite, and he genuinely might help City's defence now. He looked sure of himself. His kicking wasn't great in the Manchester derby. He wasn't doing an Edison and picking out the winger from 40 yards, and it was often going out for throw-ins, but he commanded it. He did it shoringly. He wasn't trying to pick. He was just I'm going to get this ball gone.
That Bueno save was nuts, yeah.
Yeah, and that save was ridiculous, right? But he, like you say, he was confident with his kicking. He wasn't kicking it well to the striker, perfectly to Haaland to break an attack. He was just getting it out. So it may actually help City's defence in the long run.
Well, also, that kind of trepidation that the City's defence seemed to have, against Spurs, they were all over the place. And Trafford just looked lost and scared and just didn't quite know what to do. And but now that Donnarumma's come in, it's just a different feeling altogether. And he'll be good for 12 points for Man City this season. I'm not saying that save was that most decent keepers probably would have got to it, but he made it look like it was inevitable as soon as he moved that he was going to get his hand on that. Just out of curiosity, who's currently the top scorer in terms of forwards? Semenyo's got to be up there, and he's flying.
Yeah. It's Semenyo first, closely followed by Haaland. Semenyo got an upgrade off. We do player upgrades every international break. So Semenyo got one off the
What's
back
he
of
on now?
that. So he's 83, went from a 82 rare to an 83 elite, and he's probably going to, I
Nice.
mean, if he continues this form, he'll continue going up. But yeah, him and Haaland, who have started the season unbelievably, honestly, and like
Haaland
Semenyo
could have
is...
had a couple more as well, couldn't he, the weekend?
Should have. That miss from 1 yard was crazy.
Unreal.
Maybe he's not a robot.
No. Listen, Seb, what do you make of Voltemade? Because as
Love
people
him.
have listened to, I bloody love that man.
I
I've loved
love
him
him.
from... You love him?
I love him. Absolutely love him.
I love him. I love him too. I mean, how much?
I love him a lot. Maybe not as much as you, but I mean, as soon as I saw him in the under-21s Euros, I didn't really watch the tournament, but I saw clips of him going round. First of all, he's Anthony Gordon's doppelganger.
Yes.
Second of all, a big man with a touch like that is something I can always get behind. And took his goal so well at the weekend, by the way.
Great,
and I expect he's one who's probably going to fly up the ratings in club.
What's he on now? What is he, an 80 or something like that? Is he?
He's 81, 82. He's a rare player, and under your instruction, Flav, because you obviously needed him to be low in order to be able to get him anywhere near your squad with your salary cap.
And he hasn't served him up yet, so there's not much he can do.
That's classic Manic. But yeah, he looks like... I mean, I can't wait to see him and Visser up front together if that does happen. Because
Crouch and Defoe.
Genuinely, I feel like it could be an unbelievable partnership balance.
He's just it's just rare. Like, he's rare in club, but he's also rare in how he plays football. It's so unique, and I mentioned it last week. I think just the kind of, it's not even flair. It's something else. It's like a way of playing, and there's an etiquette to the way he applies himself. And
he's majestic.
Like I said, it is. It's like watching a dancer play football. It's just the way he floats around, and because of his frame, it's almost like unique in some ways. And all this doesn't mean that he's going to go. I'm not saying he's going to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League, right? And he isn't the most prolific goal scorer. Hasn't been thus far. No. But what was really frustrating when I tweeted about him saying this is a great signing for Newcastle because we've been aware of his abilities for a couple of years. And you know, when you kind of call it early and it comes good, you feel good about yourself. Do you know what I mean? So
great feeling.
It's great feeling. Nothing better, mate.
Also with him... Sorry, mate, carry on. I was going to say with him, it's the aesthetic as well. Like, it's not just the fact he's a big man with a good touch. It's also the long hair, the long sleeves... Yeah. The low socks as well, the boots he wears, like everything about him just makes me want him to succeed. I love him. He reminds me of myself a little bit, tall and lanky. So I just want him to do well.
He's impeccably well dressed as well. While we're blowing smoke,
he is, yeah.
His dress sense is sensational.
Yeah,
and he's single.
So, is he? Oh wow, get in there.
I don't know if. I mean, I'm not sure my wife is going to be all right with this, and it's a bit weird even because anyway. Let's leave it. But he's just sensational. Like, it's great to see him score a goal. And Joe, you must have been gutted.
No, you think I hate I hate him, or just because I rated him lower than Gyökeres? Like, you think I've got some
wow. Wow.
That clogger.
Crazy.
A clogger.
What was it that Ben Bowman said about Gyökeres that went viral this week on the overlap?
He looks like he's playing in jeans.
Well, you did say it'd be close. Who gets more goals this season? And Gyökeres on 3, after Voltemade on 1, but played a couple less games. It might end up being close if he does get the regular minutes. I mean, we thought he was going to share it with Visser. Remains to be seen whether they play as a 2 or whether they're going to rotate. And I think if they do rotate, it'd be like increasingly hard for him to get near a Gyökeres who's playing up front for Arsenal. But like, if he does play 90 minutes most weeks this season, it could be close between him and Gyökeres for who gets more goals this season, genuinely.
We'll see. I think just the number of opportunities that Gyökeres is going to get at Arsenal would mean that he probably will get it. But I saw an interesting discussion about Gyökeres the other day. And are you allowed, if he's scored 2 goals in one game against Leeds, are you then allowed to frame it like he's got 3 goals in 4 games? Because most of those goals came in a tiny little clutch against Leeds. So now, so 3 and 4 makes it sound like he's, consistent and prolific. When really it was a spell in one game where 2 of the games come from, and the other one was a tap-in. I don't know.
penalty and a tap in. The other finish was good, to be fair, but I mean, you could also frame it. He scored 1 goal in 3 games, so I don't.
Precisely.
You two, man. What are we doing? Of course, you can say he scored 3 goals in 4 games because
Did he
I don't
though?
think so.
Did he actually?
that's exactly what he's doing. He's played
He scored
4
3
Premier
goals in
League
2 games.
Yeah, he's played 4
I know
Premier
that makes
League
it sound
games.
better, actually.
Yeah, he's played 4 Premier League games this season and scored 3 goals. What are we doing here?
I'm
Come
not,
on.
Joe. I'm just asking questions. We're having a discussion. Is what you do on podcasts, right? I might be wrong. I'm just saying it sounds a bit iffy. You're doing a lot of work for him.
You should be allowed to ask these questions, you know what I mean?
course you
Especially
should.
about a player like him. A lot of scrutiny on him. So I think I hear it. I absolutely hear it. Maybe we need to change the discourse.
Maybe
You guys,
Joe wants to shut us down. We're just having a normal conversation here, Seb, and he wants to shut this down.
Do you know what did
early
happen
thoughts?
though, Flav? Do you know what did happen whilst we're on the topic of players you like, players you don't? Wirtz got his downgrade.
Really?
Wirtz went
Deserved.
from an
Interesting.
85 to an 84 already. An early
wow.
downgrade for him.
Do you know what? I'm not surprised. It's fair because he has been ineffective. You come in with that kind of money, and by hands down said it in multiple different platforms. I thought it was the best signing. I thought he was incredible in the Bundesliga for 2-3 years, I think maybe, but certainly the last couple. And you're like, it's a sure bet, but nothing is. And he's gone on record to say about how didn't say the word difficult, but he just said the intensity of the Premier League just doesn't stop. You don't get a moment's pause. Yeah. And that's why I worried a little bit about some of the other players that are making their starts, like Woltemade, and is that how much patience they're going to have, and Liverpool are going to have patience with him because they've spent so much money. But there is some Liverpool fans thinking maybe he should be, taken out of the firing line somewhat and have another player brought in. But he did draw the foul that got the sending off for Burnley, so that was something.
Was that him?
Was it him?
Maybe it might have been. I thought I think he's been, like you said, he's been ineffective, and obviously when you come in with that price tag, I think the scrutiny is always going to be absolutely massive. And you've got Chelsea fans going, well, look what he did to Caicedo, and Arsenal fans going, look what he did to Rice, and that just sort of keeps going in a cycle of just bashing any player after 4 games. But I don't know how much he has to adapt to the Prem. Liverpool have to adapt to him in their side as well. He's a very different style of number 10 to Szoboszlai, who was playing there for the majority of last season. So, but I do think, like in the Newcastle game, in the Burnley game as well, he wants a bit too much time on the ball, and very often he can get out of it with his technical ability, and he'll find a nice pass. But I think when you've seen, like you said, with the impact of some of the other players in the Premier League, I think that he's not allowed to have too many more weeks of being this ineffective. I don't think, until we actually have to start asking a few questions. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now, I think.
Yeah, he was poor against Burnley, but it's interesting. Yeah. We were obviously talking about ratings and new players coming in, and we obviously all mentioned Xavi Simons. I know we had quite a lot of back and forth about that, Flav, and he
84 was ridiculous. What are you thinking?
the
league. You got to let him prove himself a bit first.
The original player you told me if it's 85 or minimum, you don't want to. But it's now interesting he's come in and gotten an assist, right? And I see what you mean with Wirtz. The quality is obviously there. No one's questioning whether Wirtz is a good footballer. It's whether he fits a system, whether he fits the league, whether it's for him. And often we talk about luck in football, right? So much of it is luck and confidence. If he grabbed a goal or grabbed an assist, it's so easy to kick on, because then you've got that little you put the 007 graphics that are ready and waiting for every sort of opposition fans. They've all got their tweets ready, scheduled on. Like if you get one of them early doors, you put that to the side, and you can sort of just focus and kick on. Then obviously Xavi Simons got that assist already. So that might do.
Is he better? Cost a third of the price.
Conversations here. We're just having conversations.
Uncomfortable conversations need to be had. I think. Yeah, I agree. Xavi Simons showed more in his debut for Spurs than Wirtz has shown over the past 4 games. I think so.
I'm really conscious about this being a Spurs angle on the podcast, but you can't argue what Seb just said.
Yeah, when you're speaking facts, you're speaking facts. Like we've had a great start to the season, title race potentially, 3 wins over 4 games.
I think Xavi Simons. I agree. I think Xavi Simons showed me more in that game and was better in that game than I've seen from Wirtz all season. Apart from maybe that second half against Arsenal, that that anyone keeps going on about. But genuinely, I think Simmons showed more.
I think that they both need a game where they Wirtz needs a game where he just wins Liverpool the game with his quality, and Xavi Simons needs that for Spurs as well. I think because whilst we are joking about it slightly, I think Xavi Simons is going to have quite a bit of pressure put on him as well with all the stuff that happened with Eze and Gibbs White in the summer. I think that both of them, they're similar styles of football, and I think both of them. Xavi Simons less so because obviously Liverpool, the scrutiny on them is huge and his price tag, but they both need to sort of get settled in quite quick, I think, and sort of start grabbing games because Spurs need Xavi Simons to do that, especially against those sides that sit in against us at home, and Wirtz needs to do that so that everyone just gets off his back and he can shut them up, I think, and both are capable, so I think they will.
Yeah. You mentioned there the title race. Based on what you've seen thus far, who do you think in the end will be in that conversation?
I think Liverpool and Arsenal. I think it's going to be a Liverpool-Arsenal title race again. It's a shame. I said City at the start of the season. More out of hope than expectation. But I think we've seen now that Liverpool are only going to get better and improve from this point, performance-wise, I think. And, once it clicks with Wirtz, once it clicks with Salah this season, defensively, they're, so good with Virgil van Dijk, basically. I mean, when you've got Van Dijk, he's the biggest ceiling raiser in the whole Premier League. It's a joke. He could probably defend against most sides completely by himself. But I think Arsenal scare me with the depth that they've got. When they've got William Saliba out, no Bukayo Saka, no Martin Odegaard, it scares me a little bit how good their strength and depth is now. And I think that they won't drop many points this season. And I don't think an injury crisis hurts them in the same way that it did last season. So I'm worried about Arsenal, but I'm going to back. If I had to say who's going to win the title at this very point, I'd back Liverpool to do it. I just think they've maybe got a little bit more quality in those attacking areas once Isak gets up to speed.
I'm still sticking with Manchester City. I just think they'll find a way,
Yeah.
and Pep will find a way, and the amount of quality in that squad with Haaland, there's always a shout. I'm sticking with what I said earlier, but in terms of the thing is, despite 4 games gone, there's been no outstanding side really.
I agree with you. I think I said City at the start of the season, and I think I'm going to stick with City. Maybe it's blind, just sort of.
The thing that worries me about City, though, the thing that worries me about City is when you look at Arsenal with Gabriel and Saliba, like commanders at the back, and then Virgil van Dijk with Liverpool. I just don't think City have that defensively. Like I've never really rated Ruben Diaz as highly as a lot of others. I like Diaz; he's a good defender. But I'm just not sure they've got those personalities to step up and sort of grind them out results. You saw it against Brighton.
Kushner.
Yeah, he's good. I like Kushner. He's class,
he's got
isn't he?
dog.
Yeah, he's absolutely rapid, isn't he? But I mean, I like him. I think he'll become the starting right back for City this season. They've got a good defence, but I think that's where Liverpool and Arsenal are sort of just like so ridiculous, especially Arsenal in that area. And the old cliche, the defence wins your titles. I think that's City's downfall.
Do you think... Because Liverpool haven't been good yet. Genuinely, that's the scary thing. It's either the scary thing or the worrying thing for them, right? It's scary if you look at it. They've not even played that well yet, and they've got 4 wins from 4, only team with that record in the league. Or it's worrying for them because maybe that's just Liverpool. Maybe they aren't as elite and great as everyone thinks they are, and this is just how they're playing. Like they are going to scrape wins against Burnley 1-0 because they can't break them down. They haven't worked that out yet. They are going to come back from behind from what seems like they're going to be a draw against Bournemouth after being like, maybe it's either worrying as a Liverpool fan because that's their level, or it's scary because they haven't got it out of second gear yet and they've got 4 wins from 4. It's what you think is more likely.
I think it's better that, it's a positive thing that they haven't necessarily kicked into gear, but they've still got 12 points. But so there's a difference between what you hear online and from Liverpool fans and what the normal ones are like, just the normal fans rather than the ones that are doing things with clout and stuff. And I've got a mate who lives up there and talking to sort of cab drivers and builders and stuff like that. They're not convinced at the moment that everything is rosy.
I think it has to be one of those. If you're going to take either perspective, I think because they won the league last season, the quality they brought in, like there's no kind of doubting the quality that Isak and Wirtz and all these players they brought in have. So I can't imagine it's not going to click for Liverpool over the next couple of months. I think Slot's too good a manager. He's too adaptive. I think it might be one of those where maybe a Wirtz comes out for a little bit, maybe an Isak comes out for a little bit. Maybe they have to sort of rework how they're using Ekatike once Isak comes in. I think there'll be some sort of fine tuning, and they'll definitely lose games. It's not going to be like a sort of a 95 to 100 point season from Liverpool. Definitely not. But I'd be amazed if they didn't sort of get into their flow and get into their rhythm after the second international break. I think that would be surprising.
They are an injury, and everyone keeps going on about it. This, like, the cover Arsenal having defence looks good. That Mosquera's come in and looks good. That Hincapié, however you say it.
Yeah.
Like, Arsenal have depth there. City, Stones got injured right after the first game of the season. Other defenders have come in. You back them. Yeah. If Van Dijk or Konate go, I mean, we don't know about this young lad from Italy that they've come in, and I don't particularly rate Joe Gomez. Like, no.
And he's so injury prone, isn't he? Like, if one of those gets injured, he's probably going to be injured too.
They're in big trouble. More trouble than any of the others. Yeah.
So if Van Dijk stays fit, do you think Liverpool win the league?
No, I think City do. I'm just going to stick with City. I think it's so hard because we haven't seen Liverpool with Isak yet, which is mental to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. But just another 130 million quid player on the bench. Absolutely crazy. But I think if Van Dijk gets injured at any point, I think it's all up for grabs. I think if he stays fit, I'd lock Liverpool.
Okay. I think Gravenberch as well, just quickly.
Mate, what a player.
I can't believe when we talk about like remontadas, when we talk about players that you thought were destined not to do anything. And then, I mean, Gravenberch kind of had that. He was, when he first burst onto the scene in Europe, he was tipped to be the next big thing. Didn't quite work for him, Bayern, etc. Yeah. And you thought, and then he started Liverpool career poorly. You thought he's done, and now he's like genuinely level, like up there with Caicedo for being like
he's
like next level.
He's absolutely he's a freakish talent. Like that flick he did over that Burnley player's head. You sort of the body feints that he has, like to just move away from a player, very like Pogba-esque. He's a joke of a footballer. I think he's up there with the best DMs in the world. I think definitely.
And as we move towards the end of the podcast, we have to look at the other end of the Premier League table and who do you think might be at risk relegation? I think we're looking at currently in the bottom three. You've got Aston Villa, West Ham, and Wolves. I think Wolves are in massive trouble. Obviously,
deep trouble.
Losing Aït-Nouri and Cunha for a team as they've got a couple of decent midfielders as well. Gomez and
Andre,
right.
But it's just not enough. And that new manager bounce for Pereira is very much flattened out.
Yeah,
interestingly, Villa find themselves there. Haven't scored a goal, 2 draws, 2 defeats, and no money to spend.
Yeah, I got absolutely flamed in the summer for saying that Villa were going to struggle at the start of the season, like absolutely flamed. I made a video at full time when they lost to United and missed out on Champions League football, and I said, you lot are going to have a terrible summer and a terrible year next year, and I'm going to be pleased about it. But no, so I went quite big on Villa, and it gives me great pleasure to be proven right, you know what I mean? But I obviously they're not in any trouble. I don't think it's just... I just think they've gone a bit stale. Like I just look at that side and I'm like, I don't really see where that spark comes from massively. I think West Ham will be the same. I just think if they get Somerville firing, if they get Bowen firing, I think they'll just do enough with the midfield signings they've made. But they are bad as well. But Wolves are the one out of those three that I look at and think you don't have the quality to like massively get out of this. I think they'll be there or thereabouts this season, depending on how the newly promoted teams perform. And with Sunderland doing what they're doing, I think one of those is in trouble, defo.
You lose 4 on the bounce, start of the season, minus 7 goal difference. It's very difficult to start recovering from that because belief goes, manager starts doubting his infighting starts. And
I believe, I think they'll be okay. They won't be okay. They will narrowly, they will like be in big trouble. They'll be there come the end of the season.
Who do you think?
Yeah.
I think Wolves. I think once Strand Larsen comes back, I think that's going to be massive for them. They're so short of goal, like scoring goals. Like they'd have definitely picked up had they had him from the start of the season fully fit. They would have picked up at least their point. I think from now, I think Wolves. Like
so Wolves are safe, Joe. Who are you sending down?
I think Leeds are in trouble.
They're
I think
gone. I
I
can't
think
see how they get out of it.
I think offensively they just look, when we talk about toothless, when we talk about like Leeds.
Yeah.
If you look at their squad, sometimes it's as simple as just like looking at the 11 players, looking at the bench, looking at the 11 players and going, is this a Premier League squad? Is this a Premier League team? And with Leeds, you can comfortably say that they aren't. Like, as a Championship supporter who's known that, I look at their team and go, that's a Championship team. Like it
Yeah.
may not even get out the Championship. So I think Leeds are in trouble. Villa are fine. West Ham, I think,
Yeah.
need to do something about Potter. Should they do something about Potter, I think they'll be okay. So
Yeah,
I actually think
get Nuno in, he'll keep them up.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually.
And I'm probably going to get flamed for this and called biased, but I think Nottingham Forest are in big trouble.
Seb, I don't know if you know that Joe is a supporter of teeny tiny Derby.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I knew that.
You knew that.
I think it's really. How do you feel about Ange at Forest, Flav? Because I spoke to a lot of different Spurs fans who are so split on it. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know if I don't want him to get relegated with them, but would you be happy for him if they did really well, or is it one of those where you think, nah?
I don't really care, really, honestly. Yeah. I as soon as a player or manager leaves my club, they're like they don't exist to me. Like, I don't get this infatuation with following Heung-min Son's every move and posting it on every. Like, he's gone, he's left. Move on.
Let it go.
Let it go. Exactly. But to answer your question, I think I'd like him to do well. I've always liked Ange, and he won us that trophy, sort of, but I think it ends in tears.
So do I. I'm worried about Forest.
Maybe not this season, but it ends in tears.
If you finish 17th with that Spurs side, right, and I know it's different circumstances, if you finish 17th with that Spurs side, I think no one can criticise you for thinking that he could finish lower than 17th
100%.
with this current Nottingham Forest side.
He cannot play the same football he played at Tottenham at Forest.
Absolutely not.
They're in
he
big
will.
trouble.
But the thing is, I know we saw it in the Europa League to an extent, but I don't even think we were that. I don't think we were that defensively solid in the Europa League final. United had a couple chances and stuff, but I'm not sure he's got it in him to like effectively coach a deeper block and like sort of really make his team pragmatic. And he's already said that he doesn't want to do that. He said that they've got until Wednesday until they see Ange ball. That's what he said in his interview after the game. He was like, "You'll see it on Wednesday, mate." It was like, okay.
So is he going to do the same thing? Is he going to invert the fullbacks? They'll be playing tens.
Yeah, he will. That's Ange, isn't it? At this point, again, it's like Amorim. Once you double down on something, you can't really go back on it. And I think obviously every Premier League manager has an ego, and I think Ange's ego is, I'm going to play my way. You've hired me to play my way.
That's what Mr. Marinakis wants as well.
He can't play Nuno ball. Yeah,
I think he wants expansive football. He's in Europe now. He's obviously got huge ambition. Like, say what you want about him, he's got huge ambition and love for the football club, and just wants to see them do well. And like we all said it with Brighton and Chris Hughton. When I remember, I was the first when Brighton got rid of Chris Hughton because they said they wanted to be more than just escaping relegation. They wanted to be more than that, and they hired and they were ambitious. I would call them mental. Who do they think they are? They're Brighton. But then look
Gary O'Neill at Bournemouth as well.
And look at who Bournemouth are. Look at who Bournemouth are now. Look at who Brighton are now. Look at the way they play football.
Southampton.
Exactly,
But I don't think Ange is on the same level as a lot of those managers we're talking about, right? Like the De Zerbis, the Iriolas. Like, I don't think Ange is on the same level as them. That's why I don't fear for Forest, because it gives me great pleasure to sort of see them, to start thinking about them as going from Europa League to relegation. But
I don't want to alienate Forest fans, but they kind of you've wound everybody up. No one. There's going to be no one backing you. Like, this is you've made your bed now. All right, Marinakis has upset literally every single human being on the planet this summer.
Who's your three then? Who's your three to go down now? If you had to say now, after 4 games, after signings all done, all said and done, who's current managers? Who's your 3 to go down this season?
If no one changed anything, I would say West Ham. I would say West Ham. I would say Wolves, and I would say Leeds.
Wow.
But
Back
West
in
Ham
Burnley.
will change, and Nuno would love that job, I think. And
Yeah.
he definitely keeps him up. If nothing changes, that would be my bottom three.
I'd say Burnley will finish bottom. Even though I've liked their start to the season, I like some of their players, but I'll go Burnley. I just don't think they'll quite have the quality.
They don't have the quality.
Leeds and Wolves, I think would be my three. If nothing changed right now, I think those are the three that I look at and go, I'm not sure you've got it in you to sort of win enough games to stay up.
I'll go Sunderland, Forest, Leeds.
Wow.
Sunderland. They've started really well. I
Sunderland.
thought I've been impressed with them.
Yeah,
They've signed really well as well. Okay.
Yeah, they have,
They've got quality. I think they've got quality.
Brian Booby.
Yeah.
I've seen clubs. I've seen clubs start well before and peter off. You've seen some clubs start slowly and go in. I like if I'm just like I say, I do it from a very much like what's the most likely thing to happen. I think Burnley have shown like that they were so unlucky. I mean, what is that Hannibal Medbury handball is just
God.
It's the most stupid thing I've
mental.
ever seen him. And they're that away from getting a draw at Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think they're going to really annoy some teams this season.
Who was it that posted the worst ever total in Premier League title?
Oh God, I don't know.
Remember. Was it 11 points? 11
Good
points?
trophy that.
I don't know. God knows.
Are you proud of that though? Are you proud of that stat?
We've got Derby.
I feel like you low-key are.
Derby have got a song like almost not glorifying it, but sort of like it's like a weird flex chant that we've got talking about being the worst team in history.
Double down, you got to back it, own it, and double down.
You'd rather be worse than second worst.
Yeah, exactly. At least people know about us. There's some history there 100%. being recognised by everyone as the worst club in Premier League history. And genuinely, it's never. I don't think it's ever going to be broken. Like,
no.
You look at how bad
it's mental.
How bad was Southampton last? How bad were they? And they still managed to beat it, and then posted. After they were the second worst team, by the way, and they had the audacity to like post that sort of. I don't know if you saw it. They all over their social, celebrating like that they beat.
That was embarrassing. Yeah.
The fact that they can do it, I genuinely don't think anyone comes close.
You're a fan. You're not liking that. I wouldn't like that activity if I was a Southampton fan. But yeah, here we are. Well, why don't you download the club app, take us on. What is your squad like, Joe? You must have the best squad in the game, surely.
So we've done a post. If you go to club on X, we did a post saying if you comment your club name, we'll reply with where you are currently in the world. And doing that, I obviously checked my own out, and I'm currently we've got well over 100k players, and I'm currently 34th in the world. Out of
34th out of 100,000.
Over 100,000.
You get free diamonds though, don't you?
Everyone says you don't understand how much my friends like whenever we sit and play on the weekend or watching the football at the pub, they like always look at the team like, yeah, you just send yourself gems though, so it doesn't even really matter. And it's just
say, hand on heart, do you have the ability to send yourself gems?
Right. No, I'm going to caveat. Right, don't stop.
Ooh.
Hang on. Can you?
We physically have the ability to send gems. I have not sent myself gems, nor am I allowed to, because it would be blocked by the team. But physically, yes, I'm capable, but no, I don't. We have the ability to like do a lot in club, but we want to keep it authentic. So it's actually just unbelievable ball knowledge.
That little smirk on your face when you were saying that.
Yeah, I think you're a liar. Joe, you're a liar.
Flav, we actually have the ability to reduce salary caps as well. So
I'm sitting there grinding. I've been grinding for the last 2 months. I'm still on level 7. I can't afford to have Caicedo. I'm just staring at him going, imagine the day where I can have him. I don't know, man. Send me some gems.
I've got to meet now.
Oh, here we go. Let's see what Manny's throwing up. Oh, my Lord.
Exactly.
Who is it?
This is what we get. Is that shot?
Igor
Thiago.
Oh, wow.
Igor Thiago.
Could be some potential there.
Yeah. That's just a reject. Yeah. See, Agent Manny, even for me, there's no fixing going on. I still get the greens.
What is interesting, if people are still with us, what is quite good about it is that you think, all right, well, once I've got the best players, I'm maxed out, but they're on short-term contracts. You lose them. You have to refresh them, don't you? So, and the game changes quickly because football changes quickly. So you always got to be on your toes, boys. Right. Thank you very much, Seb.
Thank you, mate. I loved it.
Thank you very much, Joe. And if you want to download Club, use the QR code that you can see in the corner of the screen there. Get playing straight away. It's free.
And they'll shoot me for not saying this. If you think all the season started, what's the point in downloading a football game now? The beauty of Club is that when you download and join, you'll be match made and put into a small league against someone who's downloaded at the same time or similar time to you. So you'll have a similar starter squad, and then you can build up and get promoted. It's all small leagues. It's all up and down, like in group in leagues of 4. So it absolutely doesn't matter if you're joining midway through the season or 4 weeks in. You can start playing.
We've got a Spurs league. We've got 151 people in there, and while you have a total points amassed, each game week you actually have a live league for every single week. So I finished 7th one week and 111th the next.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. You can join this at any point, and you're never out of it. The good thing, like we all know about certain other fantasy football games, you might be ranked 5 millionth in the world and give up. Whereas in Club, you're always a win away because it's done on head-to-head matchmaking basis as well. You're always just one win away from being promoted out of your league and getting it. So download Club, guys.
Good. Bye, everyone.